The following is a segment from my stream where a subscriber asked how to deal with ranked anxiety. And I know it's a common issue. Tekken can be one of the most punishing games out there where any progress you made can be deleted in a short ranked session when you run into a bunch of matchups you don't know, the connections are bad, or if you're just having an off day. I encourage people to think about their ranks as kind of a range of 3. As long as you're fluctuating within the same 3 ranks, I think you're generally doing fine. And as you continue to improve, you'll naturally raise that window of ranks that you exist within just by continuing to play and improve. Anyways, I answered their question here. Hopefully this gives you some insight on how a lot of high-level players think about ranked and think about improvement in general, and maybe you'll benefit from it. Let me know in the comments if you'd like more content like this, kind of about like meta competition, not just the actual mechanics of the game or how things work, but how to also navigate this space as a player or as a competitor. Hope you enjoy. People will talk about they don't want to queue up for rank because they're afraid of demoting, or they don't want to queue up. They want to just play quick match. And there's no shame in that, right? I don't want to say like there's only one correct way to do it. But I will say that the energy and sometimes we don't have like strong control over that part of ourselves, right? But the energy spent on being concerned about the rank can be redirected to skill improvement. And the more that you spend your energy trying to improve your skills, the more your rank just kind of shows up where you would never thought it would be. Right? The reason I always pitch ranked is because it is where people try their hardest. You get the scummiest tactics. You don't get people trying to play solid. You get the scummiest tactics. You get people doing reactable lows. You get people like testing your grabs. You know, you get like the dirtiest play possible because they want to get their ranked points. And I prefer training in that environment where people are trying their absolute hardest because it tests my skills. Obviously, I want to rank up too. Ali Hondal knows. He said ranked is so fucked sometimes. Partially, that's his fault. He spring kicks the 50th time in a row like you won't deal with it, right? And for me, I've never thought about like, well, I did used to think about it. I used to play League of Legends, and ranked anxiety in League of Legends goes crazy because you're in like 40-minute game. The way I see it in Tekken is because it's a one-on-one game, because you have the most control over variables that aren't like laggy internet or cheaters or pluggers, right? Any rank you lose, you can get back. You can, as long as you're always getting better, whether it's as a Tekken player or as a competitor, you are always able to get back to where you were. It should be a lower priority, in my opinion, to reach a certain rank than it is to understand what is the next thing in front of you that is an obstacle, right? The next thing in front of me as a Clive player, for example, is like nailing my whiff punishment, nailing my defense. When I'm fighting in ranked, I'm always thinking about that. Like, obviously, if I'm on stream, I'm going to make a big deal about like getting like demoted or stuff like that. Or if I'm like really close to a promotion match and I want those points. I'm not perfect. I still make those mental mistakes. But I think in the long run, the more you're thinking about just the hard Tekken skills, can I hit confirm this every time? Can I counter hit confirm this every time? And you just keep getting better at those things, you'll suddenly be like, well, shit, I'm Tekken King. I didn't expect that. That was cool. Oh, wow, I'm Tekken God now. That was easier than I thought. And you can have the reverse too. You can have that mindset and get stuck somewhere. Then it becomes a bit more confusing. Maybe it's not a Tekken thing. Maybe it's like a player thing. Maybe every time you are fighting at Tekken God Supreme, you start thinking really hard. You're like spending so much energy trying to download every single habit your opponent's doing. But then you just put on some music and just do your thing and just start hitting buttons and you start winning. Right? Like you start, when you flow state, it works out fine. And that's a separate problem. That's like a competitor problem, right? If you let your Tekken skills free flow. There's a lot of things to improve on playing Tekken. There's a lot of things to improve on. And it's not just the hard skills, it's like the mental skills. And I think that's what makes the game so cool. And this is why when people ask me, like, how do you enjoy Tekken 8? Like, the game is so mashy. It's because you still have to improve those parts about yourself as a player. As long as the task is fun, which it is for me, I get to work on those parts of myself. And that's what I get the enjoyment from. It's not about watching my points go up and down, right? I think that's a I think it's a lost art in the age of the internet game, or it's a thing that like people do passively or automatically, but don't really have fully understood why they feel that way, or why they are able to do certain things that are easy for them but harder for other people. But I think that never goes away. And I think that if your focus is on that, it'll be way more sustainable to just enjoy the game. And I learned these lessons through League of Legends. I did not just come out of the womb thinking this way. I probably had the worst mindset when it came to competitive games ever. I brought this up in previous videos, but it probably makes sense for me to bring up now. I'm pulling up my League of Legends history. I had probably the worst mindset for competitive games ever playing this game. Here's me. All right, look at this. You don't have to know anything about League of Legends to appreciate this. You see this ranked history? You see this right here? I started Silver 2. I really wanted to hit Gold. I grinded really hard that year. I didn't get it. And then the next season, I got it, no problem. And then my goal was Diamond. And I spent 3 seasons not able to hit Diamond. I was stuck at the same rank. And it wasn't like I wasn't playing a lot of games. If you look at my... I don't even know how to look at it now. Let me see. Champions, maybe? Yeah. So if you look at like season 5. All right, I played a bunch of different champions, but I spent like a bunch of games. Season 6 though is where I was like, I really want to hit Diamond. I paid for coaching. I did a bunch of stuff. I was like taking it as seriously as possible. I played like just on my top 3 champions alone, like what? It was like 500 games? No, like 600 games. And a game is like 20 to 40 minutes, right? Season 7, I got coaching again. I played champions I didn't like because my coach said it would improve my skills. I took it very, very seriously. And I still didn't hit it. So like the mentality I had going into it was either like, if I can't win here, I don't deserve the rank, or if I'm not good enough to carry all of my teammates, I don't deserve the rank. But I wasn't thinking about the actual parts of the game. I wasn't thinking about killing the minions, killing my opponent, looking at the map, stuff like that, you know? I wasn't thinking about the specific skills necessary to get there. And that's reflected in my stagnation. Is that I did not focus on the right things. I tried really hard, but I didn't focus on the right things. So I say all of this to say that if you focus on like the Tekken skills and not your points going up and down, you focus on your whiff punishment, your block punishment, your spacing, your movement, your combos, your execution, your matchup knowledge, your defense, and then your player strengths and weaknesses. When do I lose focus? When do I get frustrated? When do my Tekken skills slip, right? I can do these things normally. I can't do it right now. Dig deeper. Why can't you do it right now, right? And you'll notice that all of those questions have nothing to do with the plus 800 or the minus 900 you get at the end of each set. It's qualitative stuff that you need to assess when you like look at replays, when you play long sets with your friends, when you keep losing the same matchup over and over again, you know? And when I hit Diamond 3 this season, I spent that summer in the off season telling myself, like, you spent these past 3 seasons like just like basically self-mutilating, being like, oh, you're ass, you're terrible, you're not good, stuff like that. What happens? Like, you have empirical evidence that you spent these last 3 years being mean to yourself. What happens as an experiment? Because to repeat the same thing over and over and expect a different result is insanity, right? Like, what happens if you experiment with just chilling the fuck out for 1 season? And in the first 30, 40 games of the season, I hit Diamond immediately. So, like, any kind of competitive game or pursuit is like an active experiment on yourself. And you have to pay attention to what's going in, what's going out, how you're digging at it. And when you're focused on those things, the points are so far away from the top of your mind, right? Like, if you're focused on the correct things, I think the points you're gaining and losing are so far away from the like active line of thought. Anyways, that's my really nerdy explanation of why, if you feel imposter syndrome or ranked anxiety, there are other things to put your mental energy on that will be more fun, more rewarding, and more enriching. But we're all gamers. Like, we all want that shiny rank. It's an impossibility of the human experience. And that's kind of the beauty of it. You can recognize all these things, and I will still go into, like, ranked, lose a game on Clive, lose a game on Lily. I get so mad when I lose. I just get mad. But it is what it is. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That's my biannual rant on ranked. And I've done this video before. If you look in like an old playlist, like I have the same topics, but I think it's cool to revisit every now and then because it's a good reminder. We all need it. All right. Hopefully that helped. Cheers.